Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. It's Brandon again, and before we get into today's video, I do want to mention that I learned something in the last couple of seconds, and that is a mostly Irishman who is pale, and it's starting to quickly get to winter in New England, should not wear a white shirt on camera when there are a lot of lights pointing at you, because it makes you look even more white, as if that were possible. However, I still want to make today's video, which is talking about my time spent being coached by Marc Lobliner, because it has sadly come to an end. Now, some of you might have already known this if you follow me on my Facebook fan page, which again is quite funny in itself that I have a Facebook fan page, but sometimes I do post relevant information on there, and some of you guys know this already. If you don't and you want to follow, of course, you'll find it in the description box below. But I've been working with Marc for the majority of the last 10 to 12 weeks, and I say for the majority of only because I think it's important to point out that during the time that we've been working together, I spent 2 weeks away in Seattle, at which point I didn't really track my macros effectively or efficiently, as well as I spent a weekend in North Carolina at a friend's wedding and all macros went out the door. It was also the reason responsible for my ending of my 400 plus day streak on my MyFitnessPal. Thank you very much, North Carolina. But I think that's important only because you guys need to know that when I'm talking about a cutting diet, which is also an important point because a lot of people didn't understand that I have actually been cutting for around the past 12 weeks. I've been in a caloric deficit. Now, this is also important because during this time I did 2 powerlifting meets, as well as I set something around 3 PRs. So that should be very forthcoming and very telling of Marc's services and his ability to still see success despite being on a caloric deficit. So yes, I hit PRs in squats twice, as well as 1 PR in deadlifts, all while on a caloric deficit, all while getting lean and shredded and all that other good stuff. In my mind, I just looked like a little skinny bitch. But in all seriousness, my time with Marc was very enjoyable. Now, of course, I don't want to get overly specific in exactly how he set things up, only because this is a business that he runs, and if you're really interested in getting coached by him, you should definitely contact him, and I will give all of his contact information below. But the basic gist of how things work with it is he will give you a training program, which he did. However, I soon got off the program he gave me only because it was geared more towards bodybuilding, and right now my main focus is powerlifting. Now, I will say and answer some of the questions that I get regarding this is why would you hire Marc when he's a bodybuilding style coach? The main reason is a lot of my viewers are bodybuilders. Plus, I wanted to be able to experience this firsthand as I typically do all my nutrition myself. Never had someone else kind of take the reins, so to say, and I wanted to be able to experience that so I could give better commentary and answer questions when you guys had them about working with a coach. And I would say the experience was quite pleasurable for me. Yes, I enjoyed it very thoroughly. Marc was very thorough, contacting me daily. He actually got on my ass a lot of times because I wasn't sending him consistent enough updates. So every day I'd have to send him my weight, how I was feeling, any other thing that's going on. In addition to, at the end of each week, send him pictures, send him my daily intakes as far as calories for the whole week. So he got a pretty good idea of exactly what I was doing, and he was really on top of things. He'd send me updates as far as what he wanted me to eat on training days, on off days, on refeed days, which I must say I'm a huge fan of. Typically when I do my own diets, I keep my intakes pretty static, meaning they're the same day in and day out, because I don't really go drastic with the cuts or the surpluses. But then again, I don't get really, really lean for the most part by myself because that's just not my goal. But I really did start to enjoy some of those refeed days and carb intakes of like 500. That was purely awesome. So thank you very much, Marc. But over those course of the 10 to 12 weeks, I probably lost about 10 pounds. So it averaged out to be a pound per week, which I am completely happy with. And that's typically what I would suggest for most of you anyways. Anything more and you're going to start to really see a lot of that strength drop off. You might not feel the best as far as energy goes. And that's something Marc was always cognizant of. And it's cool working with him because when he suggested foods and intakes, he admits that he's very bro in his approach, but he really leaves it up to you to kind of do what you want as long as you hit your numbers. So, should you work with Marc? Should you work with a coach? Honestly, if it's something that you see as a future in terms of bodybuilding, or you want to get to a specific leanness and you haven't been able to do it by yourself, working with a coach in general is a fantastic idea in my opinion. Now, it can get pretty expensive, but again, you get what you pay for a lot of times. So if you're looking for a coach just because somebody is cheaper, it can sometimes be an indication of the level of their services. I know a lot of people out there who offer coaching services, and what that means is they basically have the same cookie cutter program or spreadsheet for everybody, and they just slap your name on the top. So Marc is very thorough with this. He was a great person to work with. I never had any trouble getting a hold of him. In fact, like I said, he got a hold of me more and was like, where's my numbers? You need to send me this stuff. What's going on? So it was really cool to work with. Now, as far as my future plans go, I do have another video to talk about that in. Again, if you're friends with me on Facebook or follow my Facebook fan page, you already know where I'm going with this. But I do want to let you know, working with Marc was great. It comes highly recommended. So, if you're interested, I will put the information in the box below. In the meantime, as always, thanks for watching and stay big.